All right, let's get started. I just would like to welcome you all on this lovely day to our MEFA Pathway Counselor Tools webinar. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion, and I have been here at MEFA for almost 6 years as Program Manager for MEFA Pathway. And one of my favorite aspects of what I do on a day-to-day basis is to be able to work directly with you, families and educators, helping to support your students towards a post-secondary plan. I have 2 kids of my own. My daughter graduated last spring from the University of New Hampshire, and my son graduated from high school at the same time. And he is in the midst of a rather interesting gap year. So I actually homeschooled them willingly up until my daughter was in grade 9 and my son in grade 5. So I can relate with the challenges that are presented with remote learning. So although different than you, I had kind of time to plan, whereas you folks were kind of thrown into this situation. So I have high respect, and that said, MEFA is here to support you however we can. And MEFA Pathway is a wonderful resource, free of course, that students can utilize for college and career planning. So we are going to go through the counselor portal today, and a couple of housekeeping items. So if you're logged in through your app on your phone, if you swipe right, you can get rid of the webcam so you can see the presentation. And then if you wanted to see the webcam again, you just swipe left. I'm going to leave everybody on mute throughout. And then at the end, we'll take questions. You can either type them in the question box, or I'll unmute everybody. And I will leave the contact information as well, a slide at the end, so you can reach out at any time. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our main landing page. We have mefapathway.org. So whether you're a student or an educator or counselor, you would come to this main landing page. So I'm going to click I'm a counselor. And before you even log in to the website, this landing page here is a wealth of information. So we have our important dates on the right-hand side, so a calendar of, it's mostly, I've had to really amend this since March, but SAT dates, ACT dates. We offer, Massachusetts has FAFSA events throughout the Commonwealth, so those are all on here as well. So great to come in and kind of check that out intermittently. And then we also have our lesson plan library. So I'll just show you this quickly. And our plan is to expand. We have a number of great lesson plans that you can download and print out. But we will be expanding on this library and have, this is mostly for grades 9 through 12, but we do offer our portal to grades 6, 7, and 8. So we'll be building out curriculum for those grades. And then we will be also developing a MyCAP curriculum. So we'll have lesson plans that are, that you can use, just for MyCAP purposes. So again, this will be expanding this within the next few months. So let's go back here just to show you. Also on this page, we have all of our webinars that we offer that are upcoming, and then we do have quite a few that are recorded. And that said, we are recording this now, and so at the end, or within the next day or so, I'll send along the recording so you have that to refer back to. But again, here are a lot of the upcoming that we have. All right. So now, as a counselor, now if you're one of our affiliate schools, you would have access to the counselor portal. So any student can utilize the system, register an account. they'd see the same features as that of a student that goes to one of our affiliate schools. But in order to access the counselor portal as a school, you would need to be one of our affiliates. There's no cost involved. The agreement is, just outlines some of the data information, that we don't share any student data, that your community is a secure community, and then you would be an affiliate school. So it's a very simple process. There's no hitch. There's no funds involved. So, right. So once you become an affiliate, I then create an account for you so you can have access to the counselor portal. So you would go to just the login page here, and I'm going to log into the account that I have created for a community administrator. So the community administrator user role is that of which most educators have. We do have a data manager user role, and that would be just if you have a person in your community, in your school, that is responsible solely for uploading the student data. Schools do not have to upload student data. We've made it very easy so that you can. The file that is compatible with our system is the exact file that you prepare for DESE 3 times a year. So depending on your student transition rate, some schools choose not to upload the student file. Some schools do it once a year. Schools that have a higher transition rate maybe do it, could do it 3 times a year. But it's a very simple process. So while I'm talking about it, why don't I just go to that page and I'll show you that. So this is the main dashboard for the counselor portal. We will, and I was just on a meeting within the last hour, we are going to be making some significant changes to the counselor portal, just in the way that it looks. And this metrics area being one of them. We're going to expand on this and actually move it to the top so that when you log in, it's the first thing that you see, because we feel like it's important data for you to see as an educator. But if you were to go into this tools bucket here, we have this upload student records page. So this is where either yourself or, again, someone that's designated to upload the file would come to. They select the file type. So it's either a DESE Sims file. If you don't prepare a file for DESE, you can, I have a template that you can just use that and copy and paste from your spreadsheet right onto here, save it as a CSV file, and find the file, and then you just click upload selected file. So it's very simple to do. And one of the main perk of uploading the student file is so that you have a complete roster of students on within your secure community. So again, some schools opt not to do that, and if you opt not to do that, you would just see those students that have registered accounts rather than seeing your full roster. So you can also include data fields such as, if a student has a 504, an IEP. So there are definitely some advantages to uploading the Sims file. All right, so this tools, again, within this tools bucket here, we also have the local scholarship feature. So this is where you can add any scholarships that are outside of the national database. So you may have, a list of scholarships in your region and your community that are offered. So very simple to add. And once you add these scholarships into the counselor portal, the student on their side can then get the list of those scholarships that you've added, those scholarships that you've added, and then they can save the scholarship to their list and then manage it from there. So this is kind of a long page. Not all these fields are required, but you can see which ones are by the little asterisk. So the scholarship name, a description. You can update the status on the scholarship so that if it is if it's inactive on a year, you can update the status, but you can just save the information within the portal so that if it becomes active again, you can just update the status. So deadline date, again, there are quite a few fields, but they're not all required. You can add a URL, and then you just submit. And once you submit the form, it then appears on that list here. So you'd be able to see all of those scholarships that you've added. And again, once they're saved, you can then, your students would see them within their account. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard. So I want to show you, we have a link to Edwin right from the dashboard here. So Jesse wanted us to add this to our site here because this is just a easy way to get to the Edwin Analytics page that they're really promoting for educators. And then we also, right from this main dashboard page, we will bring up the manage transcript and recommendation page. So I don't have a lot of data on this page, but this is mainly used for if you're one of our schools that have chosen to integrate Common App in MEFA Pathway. This is where you would manage all of those, all of the students' applications. So you can see the application status, you can see the report status, recommendations. So the student, you'd see the list of students, and you'd see by the deadline that's coming up the quickest, you'd see those schools. So you'd be able to see, you know, which activities were most important, you know, based on the deadline. Okay. And then again, we'll go again back to the dashboard, and we will have, when we make the update to including those metrics at the top, these reports will, you won't see these anymore because all of the data that you'll need to see within these reports will be on that metrics table. But you will see your cases based on year of graduation. And you'll also see on the left-hand side here, this is where you can assign counselors per grade level. You can also assign counselors on the buy and upload feature. So if you're a larger school, obviously you're not going to use this manual process to assign counselors. But if you're a smaller school, you may consider doing this manually. But either way, you can update your counselors, the counselor assignment right from this page. So maybe if you have like a handful of students that have changed counselors, you can manage that manually on this page. All of the usernames that we create are first initial, last name, just FYI. So if you're, you know, obviously mine's, you know, here we are, J Bento. So that's standard across the board, unless we have, we can't have two users with the same name. So, you know, that's across the board, unless, you know, there's another J Bento in there, it could be J Bento 1, but I create all of the accounts. All right, so let's dig into a student's case. I have a test account that's has a lot of goodies in it. So if you want to search for a particular student, you can pop their last name in. If you wanted to search by, say you wanted to look up all of the students with the last name of T, you just put a T in there, and then the percent sign works as it's called the wild card. So if I were to search by T%, it brings up all of the students with the last name of T. But I just want to look at my test account here to show you how we can, what a student's case looks like. So again, we're in the midst of revamping a number of pages within the site. So I'm Jennifer Smith, student here. So this page will look a little bit different in the next couple months. not extremely different, but we'll have a couple of the fields on the left side here that will combine just because it seems to make sense. So when you first get onto a student's case, we have just some of their personal information. This is a test account, so I'm not sharing anything. I'm not sharing any private information on a real student here. But as you can see, when you look up a student, you'll be able to see their SACID and their LACID, their username. So this is handy too if your student has forgotten their username. They can reset based upon the security questions that they created when they registered their account, or by email. But sometimes, especially if you're just working with a student one-on-one and they've forgotten, you can just look the student up and it will tell you their username. And then this kind of gives you just a quick little glimpse of the progress that they're making within the portal on just a couple of the activities within the site. So on the left side here, I'm just going to go down the line. A couple of these are going to be hidden, like the commit changes and the case history are really not something that the counselor needs to see that they ever even access. So those are going to be hidden coming up. So I'm not even going to go into that. The course planner. The course planner is actually a fairly new feature that we offer, that we're now offering. So on the counselor side, the counselor has the option to build out a course planner based off of, we have a library of courses that you can access, and it comes straight from DESE, so to make it a little bit easier when you're creating that course plan. But if there are courses within our library that you offer, you can also create a customized course. So you really have the option to make it totally customizable to your school. So this is what the students, this is their course planner page. So when you get onto the students page, you can get an idea of how if they're meeting the graduation requirements. So on the student side, they manage this. This is a totally student-driven piece here. So this student has added all of these subjects and updated their the credits that they've earned, and actually they also update the grade they've received, and that you can see down here a little bit. So this is exactly what the student what appears on their page within their site. So we have this student has in grade 9, term 1, has taken life in the subject area of life and physical science. They've taken environmental science. It was a college prep level course with a maximum of 4 credits. They earned a B+ and they received their 4 credits. So the student is again responsible to go in, maybe 3 or 4 times per year and update their grades and their credits. So this can be, maybe the student is building this out in grade 9 and kind of in building it out for the next 4 years. Maybe they're doing it year to year. Maybe the counselor is working together with the student and assisting them in building out this plan. It can be used in many different ways, but this is what it looks like, and you as the counselor have access to see, again, if your student is on track for graduation, are they meeting those Mass Core requirements, etc. All right, also on this page for a student, it's their we have the documents page, so you can see all the documents that either the student uploaded on their side or yourself as the educator. So you have access to those right on this left bar here. The comments page is, I think, typically used for when educators meet with students. It can serve as just keeping track of meetings with students. The student does not see this, so this is strictly for the educator. The contacts is going to be, we're going to hide that one. The profile, we saw this when we first logged in, and this is going to change. We're going to have some different fields available here to show on the profile. But as you can see, we have, right now we have some information that comes from the student's profile. So information that they've put in to that resume builder. And we have the interests and skills here, awards that they've received. So this just kind of gives a quick glimpse. We also have the MyCAP feature. So this is a page that we worked with Desi directly, and they helped us build this page out. It has information within the page that is data driven. So information that may come from that SIMS file. Some of it is counselor driven. So you know, you can add state agency involvement, you can add barriers to success. And then at the bottom, there's also another spot where the counselor can add. And this is not, the student does not see this. This is strictly for the counselor. Student identified characteristics. So this information comes from the student. So any, you can see that they've added occupations to their career list. You can see the education level. So this is helpful when maybe you're looking to maybe hold, you know, maybe you're going on a field trip to your local hospital and you want to see your students that have identified, you know, health sciences as their career category. So you can, you know, grab a list of those students and take them on a great field trip. Goals. So the student on their side can add up to 3 personal, career, and academic goals. And you can see those right here on this MyCAP page. Activities. So this comes from the student's profile. And then the course history. So that's from the student's course plan. And then as we scroll down the bottom here, we have the top 3. Well, you can see actually more than 3. You can see the students' results from their what are my interests assessment, what are my work values. And what happens with these assessments is that the student can retake as many times as they like, but you as the educator will see up to 3 groupings. So once the student retakes for a 4th time, the oldest will be kicked out. We have the skills assessment here where the student rates their skills. So you can see that. And then at the very bottom here, this is counselor-driven tier 2 and 3 supports or interventions. And then you have the opportunity to add any comments. And then you always want to make sure if you're adding anything, you always want to make sure you're saving a page. All right, so that's a pretty comprehensive. A lot of the activities that the student's working on feed into this MyCAP page. So it's a you know, very comprehensive page. Colleges and applications. This is where you'll be able to see the status. This is the Common App piece. So if you're a Common App school, you would have the students, the colleges that they're applying to or that they've added to the Common App. You see those here. And then as we scroll down, you can see all the schools that the student has added to their My Applications page, regardless of if it's a Common App school or not. All right, and then demographic data, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can add parent information if you like. And then all of these data pieces under the student fields really dig into, it solely gives just what it entails. So if you only want to see the students' goals that they've added, you can see that on this page here. And then you can also see the strategies that they've added. If you want to look at just the assessment results, this assessments 1 and 2, that's the interests and the values. Assessment 3 is the skills. So you really can dial in even further to the specifics of what a student has added within those pages. And then finally at the bottom, we have yet another link to the documents that are tied to the student's account. So whether they're uploaded by the student and shared with you, or if you as the educator have added a document to the student's case. All right. So that, I mean, that gives you a pretty good idea of what the what you can see on a particular student. If there is something within the site that you want to see in a report form, we can customize reports for you. So if you go to this dashboard and you're saying, okay, when these metrics appear at the top here, you're saying, oh well, this looks great, but I want to see you know, the career category of students and, you know, the goals and strategies. We can create any sort of customized report for you and just drop it right here on your dashboard. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about what you want to see on a student. And then the admin, the last thing I'll talk about here is this admin tab. So the only thing that you would use here would be if you're uploading the Sims file. I showed you that. You can also get to it from here in addition to the dashboard. The local scholarships feature you can get to from here as well. And then the course planner admin, this is where you would, if you were going to build out that course planner for the student. So this is a whole other webinar right here, but I just show you that you get to the course planner dashboard right from the admin tab here. And yep, the transcript page. So a handful of these pages within the admin tab you also can get to straight from the dashboard. So you try to make it easy, you know, to get you to some of the more the pages that are used regularly right from the dashboard. All right, so I guess I'll stop here and see if there are any questions. Let me see here. Oh, I have a couple questions. All right. Is there a report to get a summary of the comments? For example, if I wanted to use that to keep notes on all of my meetings with students. So let me go back to the comments here. That's a good question. So the comments are on this one page here. And so the question is, so you can't get to it from here, but we could build out a report where if you were to create comments on this page, we could build out a report for you. So you'd have it from your dashboard and add, you know, the dates, you know, that it would have the creation date on it. So yes, we could do that. And another question was, is there a way to add the document to every student in a grade, the school profile to all senior accounts? So that is a good question. I believe right now you have to add them individually, but that would be something no one's ever asked that question before. That's a good one. But that would be something that I can look into. So to add one document, I know you can send out a document to a group through the messaging system. So that would be potential. But if you, yeah, but I think what you're asking is a little bit different, where if you wanted to add, so let me ask this, would you want the student to see it? Would you want the students to see that particular document, or would it be something that you just want to have the educators to have access to? Let's see. Okay. All right, but we can talk about that maybe offline too, because that's a good question. So it'd be either the question is, can you attach the same document to all of your seniors? So I don't believe you can do it that way, but you can, if you wanted to send a particular document to all of your seniors, you could do that. Yeah. Okay, I hope I answered your question. All right, I'm going to, there aren't any more questions, so I am going to leave my contact information up here. So if you have any further questions and you wanted to get in touch, do not hesitate to do so. And I'd just like to thank you for joining today, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Thanks so much.